Hi, everyone. Welcome to Mini Scroll, the daily internet culture podcast bringing you the biggest stories from social media, the creator economy, and the digital space every Monday through Thursday. I'm your host, Lauren Meisner, the founder of the youth digital media brand, Centennial World. Welcome back to Mini Scroll, everyone. Happy Monday. I just wanted to say before I start, I'm so sorry about the audio on the YouTube video for the Gen Z pop girly deep dive that published on Friday. I have heard so much feedback. I mean, first of all, I've actually heard feedback that my podcast is just kind of low. The audio is lower than other podcasts, whether it's on YouTube or on the podcast apps. So I have turned my mic all the way up. I always keep my mic at half turned up because I get feedback sometimes about mouth sounds and stuff. And I know that's just super irritating to people in general. So I never want to be able to hear that when I talk. But anyways, I've turned it all the way up. So hopefully the sound will be better. And I did realize the mistake that was made in exporting the Gen Z episode. So if you guys could only hear it in one earphone, one AirPod or whatever you use, I'm really sorry. That was totally my fault. That was an export issue that I will fix for next time. Anyways, let's just get straight into the stories because so much happened over the weekend. So the first story is that Madeline Argy has exposed Central Cee for using their relationship as a PR stunt. So there has been a lot of drama going on around Central Cee and Madeline Argy over the weekend. For context, rumors of the relationship started swirling after Central Cee dropped his song Doja in 2022. Many fans believed that he was referencing Madeline in the opening lyric, "How can I be homophobic? My bitch is gay," given she has openly talked about dating women in the past. So Madeline was then spotted with him on tour, on social media, and at other events. And then internet sleuths noticed that the pair had unfollowed each other multiple times throughout their relationship, leading fans to believe that it was all part of some kind of publicity stunt. Nevertheless, when she appeared on the Call Her Daddy podcast last September, Madeline confirmed that the couple had broken up, saying that they had been apart for, quote, a couple of months. She also explained that she wanted to end it for a while, but they were both, quote, a little bit obsessed with each other in a fun, toxic way. She also likened their relationship to an addiction for her. Since then, the two have been spotted together, most notably on a trip to Nigeria, with social media users questioning whether they ended up getting back together. Okay, so that's kind of the history. And then over the weekend, Madeline took to TikTok with a Brooke Schofield, who the fuck did I marry type expose about her on-again, off-again relationship with Central Cee. This came off the back of relationship rumors between Central Cee and TikToker Leah Holton, as well as rumors about Central Cee and Ice Spice. So Central Cee and Ice Spice, for example, have been interacting on social media for a little while, and this interaction even led Madeline to post and then delete a screenshot of Central Cee commenting on one of Ice Spice's posts. Okay, so in the series that Madeline posted on TikTok, she revealed that Central Cee was DMing her at the same time that he was commenting on Ice Spice's content. It was later revealed that Central Cee and Ice Spice wrote a song together, Did It First, which is seemingly all about cheating. With that song dropping last week, this is what led users to believe that everything going on between Central Cee, Ice Spice, and Madeline Argy was part of a bigger publicity stunt. But things became clear when Madeline posted her TikTok series, where she revealed that it wasn't a PR move and she really didn't know what was going on.
Yeah, no, obviously not. Girls, you told me to stand up, so I'm standing up. Let me tell you how I did not know that any of this was gonna fucking happen. Let me take you guys back a couple months. I'm laid up in bed with Pookie, and he comes to me, and he's like, I have a new song to show you, and I'm like, yes, serenade me. I'm ready to hear some poetry. And then he plays me his verse. I'm like, what the fuck? Not only did you just snitch on yourself that you're cheating, but you just told me exactly how. Give me your fucking phone.
She then went on to discuss the Leah Holton relationship rumors, saying that Central Cee had told her that he was going to hire an influencer to promote his music. To do this, he promised to send the influencer a car so that she could record a lip-syncing video. Quote, he didn't tell me that he was sending her his personal car to start a dating rumor with her. I was with you guys, knee deep in that comment section, asking if we were still together. At this point, she had started to understand what was going on, but when she came to this realization, it was right before they were scheduled to leave on this trip for Nigeria. So with all the rumors circulating, she knew it would not be good for her or her reputation to be seen with him, so she said she would go on the holiday as long as no pictures leaked. Obviously, the pictures ended up leaking anyways. She said, quote, I then remember he also gave me a release date for the song, and I'm realizing that it's only a little over a month away. This Lagos incident was not a coincidence, and I'm knee-deep in this guy's plot. So after all of this, Madeline comes to the conclusion that she has to break up with him, so she asks him to have a conversation. Central Cee was adamant to see her on July 1st, around 2 weeks after she initially asked. Madeline didn't end up seeing him that day, and he called her saying, quote, you need to remember that I'm a human being when you see what you're going to see tomorrow. The next day, he was spotted with Ice Spice.
Imagine you break up with your boyfriend one night and the next day he is posted up with Ice Spice in chrome hearts. I didn't even actually get to break up with him and he's already with the next girl. He gave me not even like 12 hours notice before he was being filmed in chrome hearts with her. The flight from America is 12 hours. She was already on the fucking plane.
Madeline even revealed that this was all after Central Cee and his team had continued to try and contact her. His team has even made claims like Central Cee was not involved in the marketing decision. Quote, all I'm seeing are comments like, how could she condone this? This is so embarrassing for her. Why would she let her man act like this? Guys, I wasn't condoning it. I never agreed to this. And most of the criticism, of course, classic, has been leveled against Ice Spice for not being a girl's girl, as if Ice Spice was possibly even aware that Madeline Argy and Central Cee were dating. Like, I wasn't even aware of that anymore. I knew they used to date. I definitely did not realize that they were still possibly together. The criticism should be leveled against Central Cee for using these women in his PR plot, not Ice Spice, but anyways. A lot of people, though, of course, still believe that all of this is PR, that like Madeline's whole series and everything is all for PR. I don't believe that. I do believe that this is all genuine, but you know, that is some people's opinion. So Madeline posted a picture yesterday on her Instagram with someone who looked like Central Cee. So people are like, okay, so is this publicity? Other people think, well, maybe she's just like dealing with all of this through humor by posting that photo. And then on top of all of this, Central Cee brought out Ice Spice at Wireless Festival, seemingly feeding into the discourse. Nevertheless, Madeline did seem to dispel these rumors in her recent TikTok, where she wrote, airing my dirty laundry because I got publicly humiliated and I still can't beat the PR allegations. Okay, the next story that I have in a similar vein, Clinton Kane has responded to Brooke Schofield's allegations in his own TikTok series. You guys know I obviously had to talk about this. Okay, so Clinton Kane has made his own version of these Who the Fuck Did I Marry TikTok series in response to ex-girlfriend Brooke Schofield's series from like 2 weeks ago. So Clinton made a PR statement to Rolling Stone, but I guess he's not satisfied with how all of that went down. So he decided over the weekend to make a 24-part TikTok series attempting to debunk all of Brooke's allegations. In case you missed it, in late June, Clinton posted a TikTok to promote his new album in which he called his ex-girlfriend Brooke out for yapping about their relationship 2 years later. So Brooke has a podcast with Tana Mojo, and on this podcast and in other interviews over the years, she has occasionally talked about her relationship with Clinton because it was so bizarre. So anyways, that was like what he was referencing to when he said she won't stop yapping after 2 years. So Brooke saw this TikTok and was basically like, oh, you want to call me up for yapping? I'll give you yapping. And she posted this whole series exposing a bunch of his lies and what it was like to date him. So she said that the public narrative that his whole family, mother, brother, and father died in the same year is a lie, and that only his father is passed. She also said he's from Brunei, not Australia, despite frequently speaking in an Australian accent in interviews and talking about how he grew up in Perth. Okay, so in Clinton's series, there were so many other things. Like she told all these things. I mean, you guys know the series. Like I'm sure all of you have watched it by now. But, she also told a bunch of different stories to really paint the picture of like how manipulative and much of a liar he was. Like, he was just lying about so much stuff. Like, he was just lying about his age. He was lying about the fact that the car he drove wasn't actually his. Like, there was just so much that he was lying about. So in Clinton's series, he basically tries to go like lie for lie with Brooke. He gets so petty and he's like, for example, in one of her videos, she said that they got pulled over on the way to Joshua Tree. And when they got pulled over, that's when she realized that the car wasn't registered in his name, even though she thought it was his car. And he, in his video, is like, we didn't get pulled over on the way to Joshua Tree. We got pulled over on the way back from Joshua Tree. Like, gotcha. And it's like, that's actually not the point. No one cares if Brooke's story was embellished or details were slightly off. Like, we all understand that the story she was telling was in the moment, it was heated and it was hyperbole. It was not her recounting with factual receipts and dates and all of this stuff. Oh my God, speaking of dates, at one point in his series, he made a Google Calendar where he put like the dates that he saw Brooke, because she said, oh my God, we were together like every day from the moment we started dating. And he was like, take a look at this. I went through all of our messages and stuff and I put together when I would have seen her. And as you can see, we were not together every day. Like, Clinton, everybody understands hyperbole. Like, we all understand what she meant by that. Okay, the things that people actually care about are the fact that you apparently lied about your mother and your brother being dead, and he barely addressed that. He didn't address his brother. He addressed his mom, and he said, as we know in the Rolling Stone thing, he maintains that it was like a mother-like figure, not actually his mom who died. And he gives this story about some woman who, I don't know, like saw him for who he was in a moment when he really needed it, and she was like an older woman. And was, I think, his best friend's mom, he said. And yeah, basically she passed away and he was very sad about it. Like, it was just not what he's been telling the public. Like, that's just not the story he's been telling. Like, he has been telling the story that his whole family died all within the same year. And that is the story that he's been using to get clout for his career. And then on the topic of him not being from Australia, he claims that he moved to Australia and lived there for like some of his childhood, which is why he has kind of an Australian accent. And he talked about how he moved around a lot as a kid, and like that's why he has kind of a random accent. But if you guys have ever heard various interviews with him, you'll know that he turns this accent on and off, basically. So that was his story about that. And then my friend Crystal, she made a really good point. She said the worst part of this whole series is that he ended it by saying he will dedicate his entire career to mental health. Like, cringe. Okay. Sure. So I think there are some people that are like, oh, okay. Like, to be fair, like when I was first watching it, I was like, oh, okay, where is this going? And I was like, uh-oh, am I going to end up on Clinton's side here? And then I don't know. I watched it for probably like 2 more minutes. So I was like, never mind. This guy is such a psycho. He's just digging himself into a deeper and deeper hole. And then Brooke responded. She made a few different TikToks, like basically saying what I said about the, like, he's trying to go lie for lie. And like, he's not actually properly addressing any of the things that are actually the big issue. I thought that this was going to be over. I think I actually said that when I reported on this last week. I think I was like, Clinton Kane will never want to bring this up again. So like, this is probably done. And I don't think that Brooke wants to either, because I think she just wants to like let this drama go. But no, I was wrong. It just keeps going. Okay, the next story that I have for you guys is that Trisha Paytas stars in Katy Perry's latest music video. So queen of the internet, Trisha Paytas, is the star of Katy Perry's new music video, Woman's World. The music video is for Katy's upcoming album, 143, and the song apparently is supposed to celebrate women empowerment, although if you've heard the song, you know it basically sounds like a child's version of a song that they would make for the intro of the Barbie movie. Like, Lizzo's Pink. It feels like Katy Perry wrote that for the Barbie movie and was like hoping that it would get picked up, but it was just like too juvenile. I don't know. It's actually like, it's not a good song. It's not a good song. Okay, so in the video, Trisha pulls a massive red monster truck with a rope while wearing truly the smallest denim outfit ever. Katy and Trisha then drive off together. Trisha's driving, and she's driving like really chaotically. And I saw somebody say that possibly her driving, like it's a reference to her iconic mukbang videos, like her car mukbangs. And Katy's like trying to do her makeup in the passenger seat, but it's like going everywhere because Trisha's driving so quickly. And it's just that kind of like shtick, like slapstick, like female, haha, like humor that did work in like Katy Perry music videos years ago, but like we've just evolved since then, you know? So unfortunately, a lot of people are not happy with Trish for participating in this video, including myself, because of who Katy Perry has collaborated with on this album, Dr. Luke. So Dr. Luke recently settled a rape allegation lawsuit with singer Kesha. Kesha has been very open about how Dr. Luke ruined her life, and he countersued her at one point for this, and they ended up going back and forth for years. It was very stressful. Taylor Swift, I think, had to pay her legal bills at one point. Like, this was a very high-profile case, and it was very well known in Hollywood that this was happening. Like, a lot of celebrities spoke out in support of Kesha. So a lot of people were kind of like, what the fuck? Like, why would Katy Perry work with him? Especially given that the theme of the song is woman empowerment. Like, it's actually just sounds like an SNL skit. So the reason why people are upset with Trisha, I mean, obviously that's upsetting enough. But the other part of it is that Trisha has been so vocal over the course of her career, speaking out in support of survivors because she has experienced sexual assault and things like that in her youth. And, you know, she speaks out about predators and like age gap relationships because of experiences that she's had. So people are kind of like, this goes against a lot of what Trisha seems to stand for. However, as a Trisha Paytas scholar, I will say that she does pick and choose. She picks and chooses when she takes that stand. And it depends on who she's with and what she's trying to get out of that moment in time. You know, there's a lot of allegations against her husband, Moses, for example. So, you know, I think I'm not totally surprised that she would choose to do this because I think the opportunity to be in a music video for Katy Perry, like it's so mainstream. And even though Trisha is like more relevant and more well-liked than Katy Perry, in the current cultural zeitgeist, like Katy Perry is still an A-list celebrity, right? So it seems like it's possible that Katy Perry worked with Dr. Luke because either A, she doesn't believe the allegations that Kesha put against him, B, she doesn't care because they don't impact her, didn't happen to her, or C, she just doesn't care because she wants to have a #1 hit. So Dr. Luke produced I Kissed a Girl and also California Girls for Katy Perry. And this is obviously like a comeback album for her. So people are like, well, maybe she just is putting, you know, the success of her career over working with him, her ethics around working with him. But I think where she misses the mark, and I'll talk about this more in a second, but like where she's missing the mark here is that we're just in a different time. Things have changed so much with fandom culture, you know, our relationship with celebrities, our perception of celebrities, our expectations of celebrities. Like, you can't just get away with that anymore. And that's where she really missed the mark and went wrong. And Kat Zhang for The Cut, she described this as saying that Katy Perry seems like she's stuck in 2016. So this is a direct quote from the article. She wrote, quote, Katy Perry is like Barbie in Barbie Land, stuck in a la-di-da dimension in which Hillary Clinton is still the Democratic presidential nominee, male tears mugs, make bank on Etsy, and the most transgressive thing a celebrity can do is sing fight song. In an interview with Zane Lowe, Perry guessed people recognize her mostly for, quote, songs with a message, songs that are captions on t-shirts and stuff, betraying a fundamental misunderstanding of her appeal. She's always been at her weakest when she comments on capital S society, as in her Wake Up Sheeple manifesto, Change to the Rhythm. What people want from Katy Perry is fantasy escapism. In the end, Woman's World comes off so forgettable, so cringe, that it overshadows the blatant hypocrisy of having an alleged predator produce it. And I actually agree with that. Of course, there's a lot of discourse about the Dr. Luke hypocrisy of it all, but there's more discourse, as far as I've seen, of people just being like, this is a truly bad song. And that just hits the nail right on the head there. All right, the last story that I have for you guys, it's a big one today, Monday, 4 stories. I wanted to talk about how the sketch OnlyFans leak has prompted male streamers to show tons of support for the LGBTQ plus community. This is kind of boy internet, but it's so important, and I think it was one of the biggest like internet viral moments that we've had in the last couple of weeks. So, Sketch, he is one of the biggest Twitch streamers on the platform with over 1 million followers. He only started streaming in 2023, and he gained his fame mostly for playing Madden NFL 24. Okay, so last week, a YouTube channel titled Pocketbook posted a video claiming that Twitch streamer Sketch had a past as a gay content creator on OnlyFans. The video featured screenshots from Sketch's OnlyFans video, so it provided quote-unquote proof. In the video, Pocketbook claimed that they felt comfortable sharing this information and these screenshots because, quote, being LGBTQ+ is not a career ender. However, many viewers saw it as Pocketbook trying to out Sketch in some type of malicious way, and I agree with that. So on Monday, Sketch, whose real name is Kylie Cox, addressed this video saying he was, quote, living under the threat of that coming out for 2 years. He said he was going through a dark time and facing addiction issues while creating those videos. And then he also said, which was just so sad, he also said that if he was alone when Pocketbook had leaked these videos, like when these videos got leaked, he might not be here right now. He said his friends and family being around him during that time, like, kept him here. So sad. He was so open and vulnerable about how, like, horrible this experience was for him. And I think there's a lot of powerful things happening here, but just off the bat, I think this is a powerful way to go about it because we see this a lot of times, like women celebrities and influencers, they get their nudes leaked and things like this happen to them, like deep fake porn and whatever. And I think we so often see women be the target of these things and break down over these, types of experiences. And we so rarely see a man in that way. So I think and when it comes to like toxic masculinity and breaking down those barriers and showing that, he doesn't have to be all tough about this. He doesn't have to be like, fuck you, or he doesn't have to deny it or whatever. Like he's saying, yeah, that was me. And like, I was in a dark place, but I'm also in a very dark place right now that this has been leaked. I think that's just powerful for like men's mental health advocacy in general. So several big creators have spoken out in support of Sketch, including FaZe Clan CEO FaZe Banks. So FaZe Banks tweeted, not everything needs to be broadcast and farmed, but since y'all want to jump to crazy assumptions, Sketch told me to post these receipts. All the FaZe boys were with him last night. Sketch was my homie yesterday. He's my homie today. He'll be my homie tomorrow. You guys are fucking weirdos. And what he posted was a screenshot of text messages between himself and Sketch. Banks wrote, "You awake?" Sketch wrote, "I'm sorry, bro. I didn't mean to involve y'all." Banks wrote, "Bro, what do you mean? You're our boy. You didn't have to dip. You didn't involve us in anything, bro. You good?" Sketch wrote, "I'm over by airport. I didn't know what to do. I'm so sorry." And then Banks wrote, "Come back. You're a good dude. The boys pulled up on me and woke me up. They wanted to make sure you were good. You're good, bro. Come back. We're all here. You're the homie." And then he actually offers to call him a car. So this is like such a cute exchange, like such a nice, like a heartwarming exchange to see. I mean, we know, I literally just did a whole series on how gaming and streaming can be so toxic. It's such a toxic space for women, gender diverse people, LGBTQ people. It's an alpha male, masculine environment. And FaZe Clan, they're kind of at the top of that industry in a lot of ways, and FaZe Banks is their CEO. So to see him supporting, like sharing those text messages and being so supportive of this was really sweet. Now, there have been some influencers who spoke out against Sketch, like Sneeko, who slammed Sketch for lying about his life. However, people have been defending or like coming to Sketch's defense against the people that are talking about him. So like Karina Kopp, for example, came to Sketch's defense against Sneeko, calling him incredibly dense and questioning why Sketch would need to disclose who he was sleeping with. Others who spoke out in support of Sketch include Kai Cenat, Hassan Piker, Dan Katz, and New York Jets cornerback Sauce Gardner. So some really high-profile people, like I said, in the gaming streaming space, or just like these really hyper-masculine spaces like professional athletes. Dan Katz is the Barstool podcast guy, like environments that are hyper masculine. And I think this is just so positive. And that's why I wanted to highlight this story. I saw somebody say that the Sketch and how he's handled this situation has done more for LGBTQ plus advocacy and allyship in like the gaming and streaming space than anyone else has done in what feels like years, just by owning it and being vulnerable with his audience and saying, this is actually really hard for me and I don't know if I'm okay now that this has been leaked, because it's, all these people have come out and rallied around him, and it's just showing this like really positive side of the industry that I think we don't see very often. So that's that on that. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for listening to Mini Scroll. I love you guys. Please rate, review, and subscribe. It helps me so much. It helps me grow. Hopefully the sound is louder on this episode and the episodes moving forward. And I will talk to you guys tomorrow. Okay, bye.